Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Hare Krishna, everybody, and welcome to this session which Meena Mataji has kindly organized for all of us. And we welcome each and every one of you for sparing this your valuable time in the quest for spirituality, which is not so common in this yuga or in these days. But we have to endeavor towards it in whatever capacity, in whatever with whatever ability we may have, so that we can little by little we can progress on this sublime path of bhakti. So we'll chant a few shlokas to invoke in auspiciousness before we begin today's satsang program. Om Agyan. Minavati, you can see the screen? Om Agyan Timirandasya?
Yes, yeah.
Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Minamata, you want to say something or can I start?
Hare Krishna. For all of them who have joined a little later, I would like to introduce His Grace Sanjay Krishna Chandra Prabhu to all of you. He is my mentor. He is speaking now from Ahmedabad. I met him when we were in Japan, Tokyo. We had 3 years of association. We were family friends, and I imbibed a lot of bhakti from him. I'm always grateful to him for bringing me to this path. So he will be now addressing us on his favorite topic. So after he speaks to us, after the lecture, if anybody has questions, we may ask him. If any of you want me to translate in Tamil, he will be speaking in English. Hope that's fine with all of you. If anybody would like it to be in Tamil, right now, maybe it may delay, or I may do it a little later, or on the next class, I may translate it for you. Hope that's fine. I would want your response for that. English is fine, right? He can speak, or would you want me to translate in Tamil? Hare Krishna.
English is fine with me. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
Fine with me.
Should be fine, right, for all of you. In case you have any queries, or later, if you want me to translate, then I can do later, because now we have limited time. So I wouldn't interrupt in Tamil in between. So we shall now ask Prabhuji to start speaking to us on the topic he has taken. And it's something we were discussing about recently, the past few days also, that will be touching upon the same thing. So thank you so much. I do not want to take much of his time. Thank you so much, and over to Prabhuji now. Hare Krishna. I will stay muted, Prabhuji. Anything else? Anybody wants to ask anything? Let's start the lecture, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much. So we are reading this shlok from Bhagavad-Gita, chapter 10, shlok number 8. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Translation. I, meaning Krishna, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So here I is Krishna, because Krishna is speaking this Bhagavad Gita. So from this shlok, we understand that Lord Shri Krishna is the source of all the spiritual and the material world. We'll see this photo which is there on your screen. This is the whole creation of ours. It's very nicely depicted in this diagram. There are many minute things. Maybe we can, you can see this photograph. I have sent it on the chat to Mataji and Meena Mataji, and she will share it with you later, or would have already been done. So in this paragraph, in this picture, we see there are three parts, broadly speaking. One is the below part. This is called the material world. See this arrow. How do I minimize? Yeah.
Your cursor is working, Prabhuji. If you say, you're moving the cursor and it shows there only. Okay. Mine is not working. The cursor that moves is yours only.
Yeah, okay. So this below part is the material world where we are right now. And there are millions and millions of universes. You can see this is one universe, another universe, another universe, another universe. So there are so many universes there. And this is just a highlighted universe. We can see the details later, but this is highlighted universe. So this is the material world, or Bhautik Jagat, which we say. And then above that is there is something called Brahma Jyoti, which is white light. You can see. This is Nirgun Nirakar Brahma, which is the destination of the Advaita Vadis or Brahmavadis. And above that is the spiritual world. And there are many details in the spiritual world and in the material world we can ignore for now. And just broadly speaking, we'll understand that there are three things: the material world, Brahma Jyoti, and the spiritual world. So now the diagram which I showed to you was from the scriptures, and the devotees have studied the various scriptures and put it in a diagrammatic form. But then somebody might question that who has seen Vaikuntha, who has seen other planets, who has seen other universes, who has seen the Brahma Jyoti? So there, it's a natural question anybody would ask. So then why should we believe in the scriptures? Why should we have faith in the scriptures? So then we'll quote some examples, like Earth is round. Now this has been proved recently, or discovered rather recently, Bhugol. Before that, people used to think that Earth is flat. Then plants have life. Jagdish Chandra Bose again discovered it a century back. Then how does the embryo, the fetus develops in the womb of the mother? This has been explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, shloka 31, chapter 31, shlok 1 to 35. Now the embryology, the science has again discovered it in recent centuries. Then degradation of civilization, how the civilization has degraded. If you read the 2nd chapter of 12th canto, you can see what's happening today has been by and large described in Srimad Bhagavatam. So now we have this nuclear weapons. Now when the nuclear bomb was thrown in Japan on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, the whole city was wiped out. But in the earlier days, there were very precise nuclear weapons like Brahmastra. That Brahmastra is such a powerful, it's a most powerful ammunition in the whole universe. But what it did, we see in Srimad Bhagavatam that this Brahmastra sent by Ashwathama went inside the womb of Uttara, wife of Maharaj Parikshit, and tried to kill only the fetus in the womb of the mother, even not the mother, but the womb of the mother. So the fetus in the womb of the mother. So how precise these weaponry in the earlier days used to be. Now, all these things are described in the scriptures. So by and large, from these things, and it has been proved by science in recent times. So we can by and large have some faith in the scripture that whatever scriptures say is by and large right. Most of the things a couple of centuries ago, nobody would believe it because this scripture, if you quote the scriptures, but now science is proved. So everybody now believes in these facts. But this has been mentioned in the scripture since centuries and centuries before. So by this, we can by and large have some faith in the scriptures, that scriptures don't speak just dogma or something untruthful or something very fairy tale like stories or something. It has substance in the scripture. The scriptures have substance in them. Now, there will always be some kind of debate between science and spirituality. There will be always science says something and which is contradicted by spirituality, or spirituality says something and is contradicted by science. And we may not be able to reconcile scriptures and science at face value. But if we study the scriptures thoroughly, and if we also use the science and try to reconcile, there will be some level of reconciliation between science and the scriptures. Like the science which we are studying right now is only which describes the material laws, whereas the scriptures are there which gives the whole creation and everything in totality, not just the material world, but even the spiritual world, even the spirit soul, even about God. But science sees only what it can, like solid, liquid, and gas. Only these aspects science can deal with, but not the spiritual or metaphysical aspect about it. So we see that there is some contradiction, apparent contradiction, I would say. So that's natural. Like if we have some material laws, we cannot apply it to the spiritual world. Or if we have some spiritual laws, we cannot apply it to the material world. For example, we have in Japan, we have some laws or the tax slabs which they have. It cannot be ditto applied to India, because India has different kind of laws and different kind of tax slabs, etc. So similarly, the scientific laws may not be directly applicable to the spiritual world, and vice versa. Like in normal mathematics, we say 1 + 1 is equal to 2. But in binary arithmetic, if somebody would have studied computers, 1 + 1 is 1. So similarly, if you take out something from in the material world, if you take out something from if I have 5 pieces of mango, and if I pick out 2, then only 3 will be remain. 3 is remaining. But in the spiritual sense, it is not like that. If you remove anything from the complete whole, the whole remains intact. It doesn't diminishes. So this law is different. We can say, for example, like in material world, if you pick out something from that, the original source would reduce. But in the spiritual sense, if you remove something from that spiritual whole, it doesn't get diminished. Now, we also see how the difference in people. One is born with a golden spoon, and other is born in maybe a very financially challenged family, or a child is born is very sick or something. So how do we explain this? Why one is born so rich and so lavish, like everything around is so lavish, but if you go to some African jungles, there may be some family who doesn't have even a drop of water to drink. Why this discrimination? So if science says it's a biological accident, one is born here and the other is born there, but there's no detail why, what is the difference? Both are, the infant hasn't done anything wrong, but why one is born with a golden spoon and other in a very challenging situation? So the scriptures explain that it is because of our past karmas, but science doesn't have the logical or deep answer to this questions. And also in recent times, the science is also gradually developing, and a new stream of metaphysics which deals some aspect of spirituality, OBE, near-death experience, OBE means out-of-body experience, near-death experience is gradually developing, and some research has been going on in this. And one scientist has very wonderfully said, sorry. It is said that if you think hard, you'll be forced to believe that God exists. So some of the scientists who are quite theistic, they understand that there is some limit to our senses, what we can perceive with the senses, what we can discover, what we can invent, because we are limited. There are so many things which we do not know. As Newton said, that if you think that the knowledge is like an ocean, then I just know a drop of it. So as some humble scientists who are very great, they understand their limited capacity, and they also understand the unlimited nature of this world and beyond. So we are now coming to that the whole Lord's creation is broadly divided into three: material world, impersonal Brahman, and the spiritual world. This is the material world. This is the Brahma Jyoti, or the impersonal Brahman, and this is the Vaikuntha planets, or the spiritual world. Now we talk about some characteristics of the material world where we are right now. It is temporary. You can see our body is temporary. Anything you buy, a chair or a $1 million car or very expensive anything, it has a what do you call? It has a time span beyond which it cannot exist. It will change its nature, or it will be destroyed. So everything we see, which we see around, everything it was created at some point of time, and it will be annihilated at one point of time. And death, this is applicable to the to the living entities, that we are born, and our body is born, and our body dies at some in a particular after a particular span of time. So here in the material world, everything is I-centered. It's quite selfish. And usually people do not acknowledge existence of God because it's selfish and godless. So I want everybody to obey me. I want everybody to follow what I think is right. If somebody tries to contradict me, I'm not very happy. It makes me sad. It makes me angry. It makes me frustrated. In this material world, our main goal is sense enjoyment. Everybody, every living entity wants to become happy. Nobody tries that, okay, now I'll become sick. Let us plan how to become sick. Everybody plans to go for a party, or for touring different places, or eat in nice restaurant. But nobody plans, let's go to the hospital because I want to become sick. No, nobody does that. Let me become poor. Let me become old. Let me die. Usually people do not think that way. Everybody wants, I want to enjoy. How can I be happy? How can I be happy? Even the child, if the child doesn't get food, he becomes cranky. So he also wants that food. He wants that enjoyment. And everywhere, if you see in this world, there will be some kind of anxiety. Happiness is, of course, there. That's the reason everybody is motivated to work. And enjoyment is definitely there. But it has a limited time span. Everybody is in some sort of anxiety. Even if the person stands first in the university, oh, everything is clapping hands, etc. But next day, oh, now what to do? I have to study further. Study further. Again, he gets a gold medalist. Then now, okay, I enjoyed my gold medal. Now I have to go to work. Let me find a good company. So then there's an anxiety of finding good company. Good company is there. Now let me again try and get more money. More money come now. Okay, now it's time. Let me get married. Got married. Now if I want to have children. If no children, then again headache. Now, where will I get children from? So if children are there, then they should be healthy and very well behaved. If that is not there, then again, anxiety. Why my child is like that? Why my child is not studying? Why my child is sick? So much anxieties. So then the child grows, let the child become 5 years, then I'll be happy. No. Then you have to see about his education, whether he's studying well or not, whether he's applying his time properly and efficiently in studies. If not, then again headache. Then once your child again graduates, then the same cycle which you have gone through will start again. Child's job, the child's money, child's wife, child's children, and this cycle goes on and on and on. So it's like, that carrot is hang on the head of a donkey. Then as the donkey moves, the carrot also moves further. So, but he never gets to eat that carrot. So sometimes but he's very, very happy because he's seeing the carrot, so he's kind of happy. So, as the donkey moves, the carrot also moves, but he never gets to eat that. Similarly, we are in the search of happiness. We get some pleasure in the whole lifetime. Rather, we can sometimes get a lot of pleasure, but that pleasure is limited, and it is a limited time span. However much I like idli or dosa or rasgulla or gulab jamun or whatever, I can eat only limited. If I try to overeat, I will be sick and I will be frustrated. Even if I like rasgulla the most, if somebody tells me to eat 100 rasgulla, I just cannot do it. And there's a principle of marginal utility. As you keep the first rasgulla gives you maximum pleasure, and as you go on eating, the pleasure gradually comes down. And a state will be reached when you just do not want this rasgulla to come in your mouth, or even near you, or even smell it, or even see it. Then, so this is a place of misery, by and large, we can say. And we can analyze our life. No need to, maybe we can debate. We can analyze our life. How many times we are actually experiencing happiness, and what is the time we are trying to get happiness. We are not happy. We are trying to get that happiness, or we are in distress. So we can experiment ourselves. And these are the 4 characteristics of this material world. There is birth, there is death, there is old age, and there is disease. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. So this we are talking of the, by and large, broadly speaking, the characteristics of the material world. Material world means this is the place. This is the material world. Then second, we go to impersonal Brahman. And I'll let you know why we are discussing all these things later on. Means why, like I'm busy in my own life. I have my family, I have my kids, I have my wife, I have my job. I'm happily driving Mercedes or Audi. I'm getting a paycheck every month. I'm going on tourism. Why I should bother myself with these things? We'll see later on. Rather, we can see here itself. It is because this world is the world of anxiety. Every moment, everybody is passing through anxiety, but the pleasure amount is very less. And whatever pleasure we get has a limited time span. And there is birth, death, old age, and disease, which are the real problems which nobody can overpower or stop. I think Michael Jackson, he had a team of doctors to see that he doesn't get sick, or maybe, he doesn't fall sick, or he doesn't die. But we see he left at a very not so old age of 50. So there are many cases where people are trying to become eternal, or they don't want to die. But birth, death, old age, and disease are the primary characteristics of human existence in this material world. Now, the second part of our Lord's creation is this Brahma Jyoti. Now, this Brahma Jyoti is the light coming from the spiritual world, or from the spiritual planets. And this is like the sunshine, and this is like the sun. The spiritual world, or the Lord himself, from whom the light is emanating, is like the sun, and this Brahma Jyoti is the light emanating from the spiritual world. Then you may say, why in the night darkness happens, or night happens, then everything is dark in the material world. This light is there, so this light should also come. But this Brahma Jyoti and the spiritual world is covered by the Supreme Lord. Only qualified beings have the entry to this place. And until that, till we acquire those qualifications, we will not have access to the Brahma Jyoti or the spiritual world. That is the reason in the night time there is dark here. We do not get this Brahma Jyoti light because this is eternal. This light is eternal. It doesn't switches off. But we don't have access in this material world because we are not qualified at this moment of time. So you would have heard this phrase, Nirgun Nirakar Brahma. So this is Nirgun Nirakar Brahma, this Brahma Jyoti. This doesn't have any form, nor does it have any shape. So some spiritualists say that we merge into this Brahma Jyoti and Nirgun Nirakar Brahma, and they say that this is the ultimate destination. But according to the Vaishnava philosophy, it is this is a partial realization of the Supreme Lord. I'm sorry if this lecture becomes a bit academic or a bit dry or very philosophical. We'll try to conclude as fast as possible. But it is important that we have a basic idea of what the whole thing is, because the spirituality is not an armchair philosophy that just once a week we'll sit on the chair and listen to some lecture and maybe, okay, great, nice to hear that. It's not like that. We have to live this spirituality. So when we have to live it, we better understand what we are doing. So otherwise, it will be very difficult to have I think somebody's unmute. Yeah. So it is very important for us to understand this whole creation. Then when we do bhakti, we exactly know what we are doing, where we are, where we have to go. When you go out of the home, you exactly know, I have to go to the kirana shop or the grocery shop, or maybe I have to go to another city. We exactly know what the plan is. Take a taxi from here, go to the railway station or airport, take this particular flight only. You don't just go to the airport and take any flight or any train which is there standing on the station. And then we see that we are in the proper train. The ticket checker also checks our ticket, etc. And then we reach the station. There we just don't say, now we are in Chennai, now enjoy life. No, you have to go to your relative's place. So exactly you know which taxi to take, which bus to take, or which train to take. And then you go to exact address, B22, flat number 1. You don't even go to flat number 2. You go to flat number 1 only, because that is your destination. So similarly, in spiritual life also, we need to know our exact destination, not maybe this, maybe that. That doesn't work. Even to go to somebody's house, you cannot change even the flat number. What to speak of spiritual life? We need to know our unambiguous exact destination. And how do we get to that destination? You cannot expect that a plane will come to your home and you'll catch that plane. No, you have to first take a taxi. You have to first get down, take a lift and go down. Then you have to call a taxi. Then you take the taxi to the airport. Then you go into the departure lounge, not the arrival section. So everything is so precise and exact. But when it comes to spiritual life, everything is okay. Whatever you do, everything is okay. It doesn't work that way. In our experience, nothing works automatically. Everything is okay. Everything is not okay. You have to understand that whatever we have to do, we need to really understand what our goal is and what our path is. Otherwise, we'll go astray. If you go to the airport or the train and take some train, not going to Chennai, but going to Delhi, you'll go in the opposite direction. Right? So just namesake spirituality will not take us. It may make us happy. We may be kind of, it may be satisfying. Oh, I'm spiritual in nature. It gives us some kind of sense of security, or maybe that I'm a spiritual person. It gives some sense of something to us, some sense of satisfaction that I'm spiritual. But that is not enough. Unless and until we go deep down and understand what is what, we may be on the superficial platform of spirituality for some time and just enjoy that superficial spirituality. Fine. But if we want to go deeper and we are serious about it and we want to advance, then we have to put some effort, as we put effort in anything for that matter in life. So coming back to the characteristics of Brahman, it is without form, and Nirgun, you can see there's no form. And it doesn't have Nirgun. Nirgun means no qualities. No qualities in the sense it doesn't have any material qualities. The Brahman is eternal. It doesn't die. In the spiritual world, everything has a life, has a time span, a lifespan, whereas Brahma Jyoti is eternal. So hence the material qualities are not there in this Brahma Jyoti. Hence the word Nirgun. Nirgun means without qualities. So without material qualities. Gun means quality, but here it is specifying that it doesn't have any material quality. It is the effulgence of the Supreme Lord. This is the spiritual world, and the Lord resides here at the center. And there are many lords here, like the Vishnu Rupas. And this Brahma Jyoti, as I said, is the destination of the Advaitavadis or Brahmavadis. Advait. Dvait means two. Advait means one. So those spiritualists who think that the Lord, the Supreme Lord and the Jiva are one, this is the destination for them. And result of Mukti. Mukt hona means Mukti means to get out of some situation. So right now we are trapped in this material world of birth, death, old age and disease. So once you get out, that means aap mukt ho gayo. In Hindi we call it mukt ho jana. To get out, to transcend or to come out of this particular place. So you are mukt, you are outside of this place. So that is, this is a result of one of the muktis. We will study later. There are 5 kinds of muktis, but there's one mukti called Sayujya Mukti. So this is the destination of those who endeavor for Sayujya Mukti. There are other 4 kinds of mukti also, which leads you to the spiritual world or the Vaikuntha planets. Now we come to the spiritual world, this spiritual world or Vaikuntha planets. Meena Mataji and others, is it okay or maybe I...
Yeah. Continue, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is our desired destination. And we will see later why we don't desire Brahma Jyoti and why we desire something higher than that, this Vaikuntha planets. This is our desired destination, this particular place, the spiritual world or the Vaikuntha or Golok Vrindavan. There is no anxiety. Vaikuntha. Kuntha means this, anxiety. Kuntha means anxiety. So this is the place, this is the world of anxiety. And this is a place of no anxiety. Hence, Vaikuntha. Vai means no. Kuntha means anxiety. No anxiety in this place. This is the world of eternal knowledge and bliss. This place, that is the difference I was talking about, Brahma Jyoti and Vaikuntha. So this is a place called Satchit Ananda. You would have heard it like in many of the shlokas, as a Satchit Ananda word is used. Sat means eternal, Chit means knowledge, and Ananda means bliss. Not pleasure, like not temporary pleasure, but innate, intense, internal pleasure of the soul. That is called Ananda. So this place, we will see, okay, we will go to comparison later. Let us first complete the spiritual world. So this world is full of knowledge, full of spiritual knowledge and eternal bliss. Here the Ananda or bliss doesn't stop. This is a world where activities are oriented towards the Lord's pleasure. And in material world, activities are oriented towards my pleasure. Selfish desire is there. Here, the desire is to please the Supreme Lord. Here, the desire is to make me happy. Then this is the result of bhakti. What was the result of Brahma Jyoti? Of what is the result Brahma Jyoti? It's mukti. Mukti ka Sayujya Mukti's destination is Brahma Jyoti. But when we have bhakti, we go into this spiritual world. This is a qualification. To do bhakti is to get into the Vaikuntha planets. The qualification is to do bhakti. And do Shuddha Bhakti, not just bhakti, but Shuddha Bhakti, pure bhakti. And in this place, we have an eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord. Like in this world, we have our spouse, we have our children, we have our parents, we have our friends, we have our mama, kaka, like uncles and aunties and everybody, we have a relationship, right? Similarly, in this place, in the spiritual world, also we have a relationship. But in the material world, the relationship will end at the time of death. But in the spiritual world, our relationship with the Lord doesn't cease to be at any point of time. It is eternal. So once if we become, say, lover of the God, lover of the Supreme Lord, or become the parents of the Supreme Lord, or become uncle or auntie or friend of the Supreme Lord in the spiritual world, that relationship is intact and remains forever and forever. It is eternal. It's not like material world where the relationship has a particular lifespan of our life. Like I can be a son of my parents only for this life. After that, no, I'm gone. Everything is erased. The whole previous thing is, in one sense, erased. Not the karmas, but other things, or all the physical realities are erased as soon as the soul leaves the body. But here it is never like that. So this place, Vaikuntha, is full of Sat, eternity. Chit means knowledge, and Ananda, intense internal bliss of the soul. It is here. Whereas here it is asat, means it is temporary. Achit, everything is dead matter. It doesn't have consciousness. And Nirananda, as we saw that we have some pleasure, but it is a limited pleasure. Where here it is eternal, never-ending pleasure, bliss here. And the relationship which we have with the Supreme Lord are different kinds, but there are 5 main kind of relationship which we can establish with the Lord. It is in the Shantarasa, Dasya. Shant means neutral. Like everything is spiritual in the spiritual world. Everything, like the table or the chair or the grass, the ground, everything is spiritual in the spiritual world. Everything is a living entity. Everything is living. Whereas at this table, the chair, if I break the chair, nobody is going to, the court is, or the police is not going to catch me that you murdered the chair. It's inanimate. But in the spiritual world, it's not like that. The chair is also a jiva. It is also serving the Lord in the capacity of the neutral relationship. It doesn't have like a exchange relationship, but it just serves the Lord. So this chair is also a spiritual being in the spiritual world. So that is the Shant Rasa. It doesn't have direct relationship. Then the Dasya relationship with the Lord is like Hanumanji. Hanumanji is a servitor of Lord Ramchandra. He always serves. He wants to become the servant. The charioteer, Daruk was a charioteer of Lord Krishna in Dwarka. So these are like serving Lord in the Dasya form, or in the servant form. Then Sakhya means friendship. So the jiva can have a relationship with the Supreme Lord and become his friend. Any example of a friend of the Supreme Lord?
Sudama.
Yes, Sudama. Any other?
Arjuna also is a
Arjuna, yes. And in Krishna Lila, there are Sridama and Lala Mansukha and Stok Krishna, Kalavinka. These were the friends of Krishna in Vrindavan. So this is Sakhya, means friendship. Then the 4th one is Vatsalya, becoming parent. Who were the parents of the Supreme Lord? In Krishna Lila, Ram Lila.
Mata Yashoda.
Yes. Yes, Yashoda. Any other parents of the Lord?
Devaki, Vasudeva.
Yes, Vasudeva, Devaki, Nanda, Yashoda. Then Dashrath and Kaushalya.
Kaikeyi and
for Ramchandra. Yeah, Kaikeyi for Bharat. And Sumitra for Bharat and Lakshman and Shatrughna. So they are worshipping the Supreme Lord as their own child. And when they are serving the Lord as their own child, they forget that their child is the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, there will be some kind of inhibition in their relationship. If you think that if you come to know that your child is God, then you cannot express your emotion of your parents, right? Mother Yashoda was worried. Oh, this what do you call? these demons will come and kill my child. And she used to do all the yagyas and all the worships and worship Vishnu and worship the demigods, everything she used to do. If she would have known that Krishna is God, then there's no need, no? So then that vatsalya or that motherly emotion would not fructify, would not come out of her heart. So this in that is the speciality of the relationship in Vrindavan Dham, that the devotees forget the godness of the Supreme Lord. But in the Vaikuntha, or majority the relationship will be dasya, in the dasya form. The example is given like the judge. When the judge is in the court, it's a very formal relationship with everybody. Nobody dare talk or misbehave or maybe even disrespect or even मजाक को क्या बोलते हैं? मजाक करना means
Playfully talk.
sorry, Madhi?
Playful.
Nobody will playfully talk with the judge. But as soon as the judge comes home, the grandson or the granddaughter will tell that the same judge, who is very well respected in the court, to become a horse, and I'm going to sit on you. The Supreme Court judge will become a horse in the house for their grandchildren. So this is the difference between the Dasya Bhav and the other Sakhya, Vatsalya and Madhurya Bhav. So in this Vaikuntha planets, the relationship between the Jiva and Bhagwan is very formal kind of, I am your servant. But when you go to Golok Vrindavan, which is the center planet of all this spiritual, all of this creation, there the relationship with the Supreme Lord is very, very informal. Not that formal, I am a soul and you are God. Nothing like that. They will, when they used to the friends of Krishna used to lose a game, then they would punish Krishna. Can you imagine punishing God? But the friends of Krishna and Golok Vrindavan used to punish Krishna. Now you take us on your head. So the friends will sit on the shoulders of their friends who have won the game. They will contaminated food, means they will eat something and give it to Krishna. Can we do it? Can we eat something and put it on the altar? We never do that. Because right now we are worshipping the Lord as like, I am your servant, you are the boss, you are the Supreme Lord. So this is the difference between the Vaikuntha planets and Golok Vrindavan. The intimacy level is very, very high in Golok Vrindavan, where Golok Vrindavan means the central planet. And in Vaikuntha, it's a bit formal, like the Supreme Lord is like a judge here, but the Supreme Lord becomes a horse for the grandchild. He becomes a husband or wife or girlfriend or boyfriend, something like that. Here the relationship is very, and the sense of godliness is not there in this Golok Vrindavan. I don't know how to move this. This is Golok Vrindavan, center part.
Okay, you want to move the picture, you want to zoom it.
Okay, I can. So this is the place called Golok Vrindavan. So here the godliness of God is not acknowledged by the devotees. Whereas in this place, everybody would worship God. Oh, Tvamev Mata Cha Pita Tvamev. Like very, you are like how the Arjuna is describing Krishna in Bhagavad-Gita. What's that shlok, Mataji? Param Dham means you are this, you are this, you are great, you are this. But here, nobody cares the godliness of when Krishna ate those mud, and Mother Yashoda saw all the universes in the mouth of in the lotus mouth of Krishna, and she was for a moment she was like amazed what's going on. But then again, next moment, her intense love for Krishna is so much. Oh, my Lala. She forgot what universe and what not, all these things. So that intensity of love of the devotees in Golok Vrindavan is too much. Immediately, they forget the godliness of Krishna. So they just don't acknowledge. Whereas you see in the Bhagavad-Gita, when Arjuna saw the Virat Roop form of the Lord, then he started saying all the prayers that you are this, you are great, please excuse me, please, I'm very sorry that I mishandled you, I considered you as my friend, and this and that. Because his relationship, although it's in the Sakya form, but it is still with some tinge of Aishwarya. Godliness is still there. He acknowledged the godliness of Krishna when he saw the Virat form. But here we see that Mother Yashoda or the friends of Krishna, they don't care at all about the godliness of Krishna. Although Krishna killed many demons, they used to forget, oh, it's okay. Some Vishnu would have done it, or maybe Krishna is just, he has done it. But they don't acknowledge the godliness of Krishna. Hence, the intimacy of relationship of the Jiva with the Supreme Lord is very, very much in this Golok Vrindavan. Although same things would happen here also. But but the godliness aspect is still acknowledged by the devotees, and hence the relationship remains at a bit of a formal level. It's not very, very intimate. Nevertheless, all the lords in these planets, the Narayan form, 400 forms, are the Supreme Lord, and all the jivas are pure devotees of the Lord having relation. But we are talking about the rasa, or the intimacy of relationship of the jiva with the Supreme Lord. So never, we should not think, oh, then Golok Vrindavan devotees are higher and these are lower. We cannot compare. This is not higher or lower. It is the separate difference in rasa. Like in our life, we have friends, we have parents or elders, we have our children, we have a spouse. So all relationships are here and here also. But here it is more of godliness. Oh, Krishna is God. The Supreme Lord is the boss here. Like I can give you an example of Mother Nanda and Yashoda. They were Krishna's parents in Vraja, Vrindavan, and Devaki and Vasudev are the parents in Dwarka or Mathura. So intermittently, Nandan Devaki and Vasudev did not acknowledge existence of God. They just do not acknowledge or accept Lord's. Nand and Yashoda. Whenever there are many things happen, amazing things happen in Braja, but they never acknowledge godliness of. Never they said, "Oh, Krishna, you are God." But Vasudeva and Devaki, they had some realization that he is the Supreme Lord. He is the Lord. That realization used to happen intermittently and for some amount of time. But Nanda and Yashoda never used to think Krishna is God. He's my own child. They used to hug. So these are this is the spiritual world, and we describe the different kinds of relationship which the jiva means all of us, can have with the Supreme Lord when we go to the spiritual world. So I think we are over time, I guess. So we'll just close in a couple of minutes. So this is a number line. You would have seen that in the number line, left-hand side is the negative numbers, then it's a 0, and then there are positive numbers. So this material world is like negative numbers. There's so much of problems here and there, negative, everything is negative. Then in the Brahman we go, there's no birth, no death, no old age, and no disease in this impersonal Brahman. But there is no relationship. It's just cessation, or birth, death, old age, and disease stops here. But it doesn't give positive happiness. So something, it's like, I have a lot of pain. Like Meena Mataji told me to take a class because she's having a lot of pain. So when she took a painkiller, and that pain subsides. So when the pain subsides, you feel some kind of relief, or kind of not happiness, but some kind of relief. And that relief from birth, death, old age, and disease is there in impersonal Brahman. But just relief from pain is nothing, right? Then you need to eat something wonderful. You need to go somewhere. You need to meet wonderful people. That gives you happiness. That is life. Like you enjoy something. So the enjoyment is this in the spiritual world. So this, although there is because of cessation, because the birth, death, old age, and disease ceases to exist in the impersonal Brahman, there is some kind of relief. And that's great, because when there is no birth, no death, no old age, no disease, it's a great feeling. But that's still not positive. It's a zero situation. And when we want to experience the spiritual bliss, then we need to enter the spiritual world and have a relationship with the Supreme Lord. And that relationship gives you eternal pleasure. And that pleasure is ever increasing. Sometimes people say, no. You need to experience the pain to understand pleasure. This is a material concept. But in the spiritual world, it doesn't happen like that. It doesn't work that way there. The bliss is ever increasing, ever increasing, ever increasing. So you don't have to experience the pain to appreciate or understand bliss in the spiritual world. So I think we can come to a logical end this time. And if I'm not sure whether we have time for question and answers, but there are different kinds of Vishnus. Then which maybe we can take some other time. We did not go into the details of the material world. And what is mukti? Then types of muktis, as we said. Then definition of pure bhakti. These relationships we covered. There are many other things. And then there's eternal debate of Vishnu is source of Narayan is the source of Krishna, or Krishna is source of Narayan or Vishnu. That is always debatable. This is the time scale. The time scale, lifetime of Brahma, how is it divided? How is it that time scale related to us? How do we compare our time scale and the time scale of Devatas and Lord Brahma? This also we can take some other time. And there are different kinds of avatars. What are avatars? First we need to understand. Then why all these things? Why do we have to spend time in understanding and doing this and that? So then we can talk something about its practical relevance to our life, to everybody's life. So I would hand the mic to Meena Mataji to close this session. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. I think if time would permit you, you can continue tomorrow and conclude, Prabhuji, so that we need not leave any, incomplete parts. You have so much to speak to us. There are lots to learn. What say others? Don't you feel tomorrow we can have a class and have the completion?
Mother, I would suggest that maybe because it's too much theoretical. If too much theory is sometimes boring,
Okay.
no? There's too much like this, and it's technical part. How many 1,000 Chaturyugs make one day of Brahma, and this is very technical. So maybe devotees would like to take a break, because today I was just speaking without even asking them how they are feeling, because I had to finish this the technical part and give a broad understanding. So, but anyway, it depends on other devotees how they think.
So, any opinions? Should we continue this tomorrow and conclude, or would you want a break or next time?
Digest today's.
Digest, understand more of this today. Digest today's, and then go for the next session.
If he is free, we are ready to listen to his class.
Okay.
If he is free.
If you're free,
it depends on his time.
Yeah. So if you're free tomorrow, we can do it and complete it, probably, no problem. Because see, when the continuity goes after some time, so we may take it as digestion, but it may not go into oblivion.
Yeah. Okay, Madhi. What time? Same time?
Same time, Prabhuji.
4:30.
4:30, yeah.
Okay, Madhi, yeah.
Yeah, so we will do tomorrow. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you for coming to us in a very short notice. Thank you very much.
Pleasure was ours. And maybe if some devotees have any question, you may send it to Meena Mataji, or maybe we can, if we have time tomorrow, we can take some question, because many things will come, because doubt has to come. Nah? Other spiritual life is not just cakewalk. We see Arjun also asking questions after questions after questions to Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam is the whole question, and it's just Q&A. Bhagavad-Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam both are just Q&A. But things will settle down soon. By and large, it will settle down. There may be many contradictions, etc., but it will settle down. So please be a bit patient in spiritual life. All your questions will be answered in due course of time. Just be a bit persistent and have some enthusiasm that I want to do, I want to know. Then things will gradually fall in place. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thanks.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you.